Hello, my project is which holonomic drive is the fastest, and I'm in the engineering category. The way I came up with this project is very similar to the way I come up with almost all of my science fair projects. I take something from a class or a club I'm uncertain about, and I expand my knowledge via personal, science fair projects that I do on my own. I'm in a robotics club, and I've always wondered the differences between different drivetrains, what the advantages and disadvantages of each are. So what this experiment is to take four different drivetrains and compare the speeds of one another when you put them through a predetermined course that you have to navigate remotely with a controller. Three of the robots are holonomic drives: X drive, H drive, and Mecanum, meaning they can go forward and backwards as well as side to side based on user input. A fourth one that I used as a point of comparison was four motor standard, which is just like the same type of drivetrain you'd see in like a car, for example. You go forward, backwards, and you can rotate. I did this experiment over the course of 3 weeks. I stayed after 2 days for 2 hours each week between building them, trying to make sure they're as physically similar to one another as possible in order to reduce error, as well as coding them, constructing the course that I would be testing them on, and of course testing them and recording the data. After data was recorded, I found that X drive was fastest, followed by Mecanum in second, four motor standard in third, and H drive in last. I expected X drive to be the fastest and Mecanum to not be far behind due to personal research of mine. X drive, the advantage to something like that is because the wheels are 45 degrees relative to the chassis, the motors, it doesn't matter what direction you're going in, they're going to be exerting the same amount of power, meaning it doesn't matter what direction you'll be in, you're going to be going in the same speed, which is to say very fast. Mecanum is a similar story, but the wheels are much bigger because they're different wheels, though they're the same diameter. So the friction caused by this does mean that it's a little slower than X drive, which is reflected in my data. I was surprised by the fact that four motor standard did do better than H drive, considering H drive is holonomic and four motor standard is not. A possible reason why is because the left-right speed of H drive was quite abysmal, and it would have done better if it had just stopped and turned at the points in the course that I had points where you had to turn. And that's because there was only one motor for left and right movement compared to four motors for forwards and back. So, as to be expected, forwards and backwards speed was a lot faster than left and right speed. From this experiment, I can take that if I value maneuverability and quickness, I would want to go with something like X drive or Mecanum drive that would take full advantage of all the motors regardless of what direction you're going in. In robotics, getting the right drivetrain is something that's very important because, well, the rest of the robot is going to be built on this drivetrain, and it depends on really what you want the robot to do, valuing what you value, like speed, power, stuff like that, what you go with.